The story of Brendan Thomas Santo is one of heartbreak, unanswered questions, and controversy. What began as a simple college visit during a football weekend in late October 2021 quickly turned into an intensive months-long search. When his body was eventually recovered, authorities ruled the case closed. But in the years since, new evidence, forensic scrutiny, and public interest have continued to challenge that conclusion, raising troubling questions about unresolved inconsistencies. Welcome to Old Casebook, where we revisit forgotten and unsettling mysteries from the past and present. Today, we explore the tragic and puzzling case of Brendan Santo, a young student whose sudden disappearance and death raised more questions than answers. Was it a simple accident or something far darker? Let's open the case file and find out. Brendan, just 18 years old, was from Rochester Hills, Michigan, and had recently graduated from Adams High School, where he played lacrosse and hockey. In September 2021, he had begun his freshman year at Grand Valley State University, full of energy and excitement for college life. Known for his humor, warmth, and loyalty, he was loved by his friends and family. His mother later described him as a great kid with a funny sense of humor, a great smile, and someone who always made sure everybody got home. That October, Brendan traveled to Michigan State University in East Lansing to visit friends and attend the Wolverines rivalry football game scheduled for October 30th. On the night of October 29th, he was staying at Jakeley Hall, a dormitory near the Red Cedar River. Around 11:45 p.m., he texted friends that he was on his way to meet them and was last seen leaving the dorm wearing gray sweatpants, a black t-shirt, a Detroit Red Wings cap, and his Converse shoes. Unfortunately, surveillance cameras near Jakeley Hall were not functioning that night, reportedly due to federally banned camera chips being removed earlier in the summer, leaving no visual record of his movements after exiting the dorm. Shortly after midnight, Brendan's phone pinged near Michigan Avenue and Bale Street, close to the river, before going silent. When he failed to return the next morning, his friends contacted authorities and a massive search began involving MSU police, local and state law enforcement, the FBI, volunteers, cadaver dogs, drones, sonar, and dive teams. The Red Cedar River became the main focus after scent dogs repeatedly alerted along its banks. Yet despite weeks of searching, no sign of Brendan could be found. Notably, personal items such as Brendan's phone, car keys, wallet, necklace, and hat remained missing. A public campaign called Bring Brendan Home raised awareness and gathered a $20,000 reward, drawing national attention. As searches continued into December 2021 with no breakthroughs, frustration and grief weighed heavily on everyone involved. On January 6, 2022, private investigator Ryan Robinson began his own search of the Red Cedar River at the request of the Santo family. Over the course of 2 weeks, he reviewed previously captured underwater images and noticed pumpkins and debris collecting in a log jam downstream. Upon closer inspection, he identified what appeared to be Brendan's distinctive Converse shoes, the same ones he was last seen wearing. On January 21st, Robinson notified authorities, who soon recovered Brendan's body from the Red Cedar River, about 1.5 miles downstream from Eiley Hall, 84 days after he vanished. His body was found entangled in debris beneath US 127, submerged and missed during earlier official searches. The following day, an autopsy determined Brendan's death to be an accidental drowning. The toxicology report revealed a blood alcohol level of 0.22%, nearly 3 times Michigan's legal limit, along with a urine alcohol concentration of 0.301% and traces of caffeine. Acute ethanol intoxication was cited as a contributing factor, and the manner of death was officially ruled accidental, the cause being drowning. Yet, doubts soon arose. Oakland County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Lubisa Dragovich reviewed the findings and strongly disagreed. He pointed out that there was no water in Brendan's lungs or stomach, and lung weights remained within normal ranges, results inconsistent with a typical drowning. He also noted that no pre-autopsy x-rays were taken to check for air fluid levels or internal injuries, a standard step in suspected drowning cases. Dr. Dragovich argued that the body's advanced decomposition could have concealed trauma, and in such cases, the death should be classified as undetermined rather than accidental, especially when foul play cannot be fully excluded. Adding to the uncertainty, digital forensics expert Scott Bailey uncovered evidence of a second phone ping at 2:39 a.m., over 2 hours after the last assumed ping at 12:09 a.m. Since phones cannot turn on by themselves, someone must have manually activated it. Investigators failed to disclose this to Brendan's family, raising concerns about transparency. The exact location of the 2:39 a.m. ping has not been revealed, but witnesses placed Brendan on North Campus around 2 a.m., directly challenging the accepted timeline of his disappearance. To complicate matters further, Click on Detroit reported that a Motorola phone found near the area where Brendan was believed to be was never logged as evidence. Instead, MSU police placed it in the lost and found, claiming it was unrelated to the case. Robinson and others have since questioned this decision, suggesting that investigators may have overlooked potentially crucial evidence. Moreover, clothing and personal items. Near the recovery site, items such as a distinctive sky blue Tommy Boy printed t-shirt and a blue GVSU lanyard were discovered, yet Brendan's family was never informed, and reports indicate that no DNA testing was conducted on the lanyard. These omissions have fueled speculation that nearby business surveillance or body-worn camera footage, if re-examined, might reveal new insights, particularly since Brendan's unique clothing could have been captured, but was never reviewed. In response to such inconsistencies, over 5,000 people signed a petition demanding a re-investigation into Brendan's death, citing concerns including undisclosed phone data, missing details about clothing in the lanyard, unanswered FOIA requests, and the lack of follow-up on credible eyewitness accounts or re-examination of available video footage. Brendan's parents, Brad and Wendy Santo, have expressed deep frustration, saying they feel no sense of closure. As Brad put it, "We know where he ended up. We just don't know what happened to him." Meanwhile, Michigan State University and the MSU Police Department have defended the investigation as thorough, multi-agency, and involving MSU PD, Michigan State Police, and the FBI, emphasizing that the case was reviewed by the Ingham County prosecutor in June 2022, who concluded no criminal activity was involved. They also pointed to safety improvements made since, including fencing, better lighting near the river, and expanded campus surveillance. Still, skeptics argue that transparency statements fail to address the specific concerns: lost evidence, withheld data that could alter timelines, omissions in toxicology and autopsy protocol, and the absence of a fresh review of witness statements or video sources. These gaps raise troubling questions. The absence of water in Brendan's lungs suggests he may have died before entering the river or elsewhere entirely. The later phone ping implies he could have been mobile hours after investigators believed he entered the water. And overlooked items, including a Motorola phone and unique clothing, highlight potential failures in evidence collection and preservation. Each detail matters, especially the distinctive Tommy Boy shirt that could have helped witnesses recall seeing Brendan in areas investigators had not considered. The lack of follow-up on such leads and ongoing FOIA non-compliance only deepen public distrust and fuel growing demands for an independent review. Brendan's tragic death, and the manner in the way investigators handled Brendan Santo's case, has drawn attention to deep systemic issues surrounding transparency, forensic rigor, evidence preservation, and institutional accountability. To this day, it remains uncertain whether his fall into the river was accidental, self-inflicted, or the result of foul play. For Brendan's family and community, the search for answers is about more than just procedural closure. It is about ensuring no detail is overlooked and holding law enforcement accountable to full transparency. A petition to reopen the case, along with media investigations questioning the certainty of official conclusions, reflects a broader demand for justice, not only for Brendan, but also for the integrity of the investigative process itself. The official narrative that Brendan died from a drunken accidental drowning has since been challenged on multiple fronts. Independent medical experts have disputed core forensic findings, digital evidence undermines the accepted timeline, and questions about mishandled evidence, missing witness reports, and undisclosed personal items remain unresolved. Brendan was more than a set of case files. He was an 18-year-old college freshman with dreams, relationships, and a future ahead of him. The unresolved nature of his death continues to weigh heavily on his loved ones and the wider community, and until unanswered questions are addressed through a transparent, independent review, the truth of what happened to Brendan Santo that October night will remain far from settled. The death of Brendan Santo remains surrounded by mystery, leaving his family and community searching for clarity and truth. Cases like this remind us how fragile life is, and how important it is to keep asking the hard questions. Thank you for watching Old Casebook. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and join us as we uncover more haunting mysteries from history. Until next time, stay curious and keep the past alive.
And never stop asking questions.